Welcome back to Sale Resell Sold. My name is Heather. As you can see, we are not in our normal location. We have traveled all the way to Ohio. We're part-time resellers. We started selling stuff out of our house that we had amassed over the years and moved multiple times with. It went so well that we started sourcing, and it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it, and I found some really great stuff. And there is one in here today that is pretty shocking. This week is called Jellycat is Where It's At. We're going to do our top 10 this week, talk about our flip-flop, and Heather and food, which since I'm out of town, I don't have access to what I wrote down about food, but I'll do what I can. It is week 45. We're going to start with number 10. This is Jellycat Bashful Tan Rooster Chicken Plush Stuffed Animal Medium Retired. This little guy, he was a cutie. I found him at Goodwill late at night. I was just going through the stuffed animals, and I don't know a lot about Jellycat other than they're popular. He just had a really nice texture and feel to him. And so I Google Lensed him, and they're like, this is a Jellycat Rooster, brown rooster. So I had it listed for $50. I paid $3 for him. I had no problem taking a $30 offer. So our profit on that was $19.87, and it was listed for less than a month. Number 9, SmartWool Quarter Zip Pullover Women's Size Medium Merino Wool Base Layer. I've never found any of these wool pieces in the wild, so I was pleasantly surprised to find this at a yard sale. We paid $6 for it, and I was like, yeah, we're just going to get it because I'm going to see how it does because I don't know. Everyone's like, it's an automatic pickup. Okay. I listed it for $29.88. It sold overnight for my full asking price. Our profit on that was $20.72. So I guess the takeaway on that is that, yeah, it is a pickup. I mean, if it's going to sell that fast, why not? I'll turn a used piece of clothing into $20. It had some wear. It has some pilling and whatnot, but it's a base layer, so it goes underneath. Nobody sees it, really. I mean, I've seen people sell these with holes in them and rips in them, and they still sell pretty quickly. So there's several brands of wool base layer clothing, not just SmartWool. I just happened to find a SmartWool. Number 8, G-Star Raw Aero Granddad Long Sleeve Henley. I picked this up at Play-Doh's Closet earlier this year. I paid $2 for it. This is an organic. This was a great company. I've never seen this brand again. I've never seen it in thrift stores. I've never seen it at Play-Doh's Closet again. So, I mean, I grabbed it because it was $2, and I know Henley styles are popular. I'm willing to risk it for $2. It did take just over almost 4 months to sell. But for a $2 investment to come back with a $20.89 profit, that's fine. I'll wait a minute. Number 7, Genuine Ray-Ban Black Green Italian Hard Case Polarized blah blah blah. I got these at Play-Doh's Closet. I paid up for them. They were $25, but the comps were there. So I had no problem just going ahead and throwing down the money. I had them listed for $75. I took a $60 offer on Poshmark, and after less than a month, our profit was $23 on that. Number 6, Squishmallows 5 Nights at Freddy's, Bonnie and Freddy. I got these at Five Below. They were $6 a piece. I bought these simply because there is not enough FNAF merchandise on the market. Now, I know the movie's coming out next month, and there's been a lot more merchandise released, but we've been waiting. I mean, I think I'm on my second Christmas looking for FNAF merchandise. The first movie had no things rolled out with it. Everybody was like, we don't understand it. We don't understand why they didn't roll out any merchandise for this movie. It's so weird. Since there were 2 of them, the cost of goods was $12. One sold for $25 and one sold for $20. And our profit on that is $25.81. Number 5, NFL Nike on-field players jersey kids size large. It's the seventh word in the title, but it is a kid size. This is the shirt that was bought and canceled twice last week. It sold for our full asking price of $39.88. It was listed for four days after it had been relisted for the third time. Yeah, it was about a week and 4 days. So it's just under 2 weeks, really, is how long it took to sell this. Hopefully they read all the words in the title, at least the first 7. I got this at Goodwill. It was $4. This is the second jersey I've gotten at Goodwill. I think it was the same Goodwill. The other one was Pittsburgh. It was TJ Watts. This one was Lamar Jackson, I guess. Right? Yeah, that's what it says. The title. Doesn't anybody read the titles? It sold for our full asking price of $39.88. And so our profit on that was $26.94. Number 4, vintage, the North Face, Day Hiker, Lumbar, Fanny Pack, Alpine Green, Black Water Bottle. It still had its tags. I got this at Goodwill. It's just sitting there on the racks, hanging there with its tags. I didn't know it was vintage when I got it. I just grabbed it because it was new with tags, North Face, and it was $8. I was like, it's got to be worth something. So I had it listed for $70. Somebody on Poshmark sent a $55 offer, which I accepted. And our profit on that after 4 days of being listed was $36. Number 3, Patagonia reversible bivy down vest, men's small gray tan, full zip, hiking chore, blah, blah, blah. I got this at Goodwill. It didn't have its size tag. It had been cut out. And it did have a couple of flaws, which were noted. That's why it says read on there. And it was priced at $75 for those flaws. But it was a really cool vest. And the flaws were minimal. It's not, they weren't ripped. They weren't damaged. It wasn't like damage. It was like a ped mark. It was okay. I grabbed it because it was Patagonia. Oh, there was a little hole, but it's just tiny. It's a baby hole. Just wear it on the other side. Cost of goods was $7. And after it was all said and done, it was listed for a month and a half, and our profit was $41.77. Number 2. Heineken soft-sided rolling cooler with retractable handle. I got this in my free group. This thing was super neat. It collapsed all the way down. All the way. It's a thick, soft-sided cooler, so it collapsed all the way down to like that. But there were none listed. And Google was of no help to me, as is the case with interesting items. There's a good chance it might have been vintage, but again, I don't know, so I don't include it. It took about a month to sell, and I got a message saying, how low will you go on this? And so I just sent back 50. I was like, it was free, right? The price I made for it was arbitrary because there weren't comps for anything like this Heineken branded, and I wasn't going to go through looking through all the different beers, seeing if there was another one in a different beer. That seemed like a lot. And I didn't care. He bought it a couple hours later, and I understand why he wanted to know how low we would go. It was because he had to pay $33 to ship it to Hawaii. And we are not on the West Coast. We are almost to the East Coast. So after it was all said and done, our profit on that was $43.06. That's pretty cool. And number 1. This is a good one, guys. This is why the title of our video is going to be Jellycat is where it's at. New with tags, Jellycat, medium bashful, Aqua bunny, rabbit, stuffed, plush, retired. I went to an estate sale south of town, and they had this like crazy driveway. My truck put itself in auto emergency braking. This driveway was so steep when I stopped, and my husband, there was no parking. It was all full at the top, and it was full at the bottom for when it ices. And so my husband had to fight his way back out because people were still coming in, and he's coming out, and it's like, there's nowhere to go. On a busy street. It genuinely is a very busy street. He had to drive around and wait for me while I shopped this. And I almost was just like, yeah, it's probably not worth it. It's an older home, and those are always just messy and dirty, and I just don't want to deal with it. I got out of the truck. I went in, and he went and parked around the corner, and Went into the garage first, and I was looking at movies and tools, and there was this stuffed animal sitting on a workbench. And I was like, that's weird. Why is there a stuffed animal down here on a workbench? So I picked it up. Sure enough, Jellycat, hang tag, butt tag. No flipping way. That's crazy. I love finding Jellycats. I know that they're the beanie baby right now. The Tickle Me Elmo. So I grabbed him, went inside. I picked up another thing, and I saw my absolutely favorite TV miniseries in VHS, which I did not purchase, even though that was one of those things I wanted more than anything as a child because I was obsessed with this miniseries. But I didn't buy it because who has room for a dozen VHS tapes anywhere? Honestly, actually, I should look to see if it's streaming somewhere. This sold overnight. I got 2 lowball offers. First, because I have it listed for $150. That's what the comps show. There were plenty of these without their hang tags. Not plenty, but there was a handful, right? There's a handful of them. And this one had its hang tag. There was only one other one listed with its hang tag. And he wanted $225. Man, that'd be sweet. But then I went into the solds, and there was one sold, and it sold for $150. That seems more reasonable. I listed mine for $150, and we immediately got, will you take 80? I said, no, it's been listed for 10 minutes. Geez. And then someone's like, is the tag wrinkled? And we're both like looking at the pictures going, I don't know. My husband went upstairs to double check, and there's like a tiny crease that doesn't crease all the way through to the other side. It's just on the front, but it's on the front. So we get it. They're collectible. I understand. We send her the picture, nothing, which is fine. And then somebody on Poshmark sent me a 75, and I was like, I didn't even count her. I was like, no. Earlier in the next morning, because it was only listed overnight, even though it says one day, somebody sent $135 from Hong Kong. And I absolutely accepted that. I was like, yes, thank you. Now it's gone, and I never have to deal with it again because the international shipping program through eBay, once they buy it and I ship it to their headquarters, it's out of my hands. After our $1 investment in that Jellycat, because when I took it upstairs, the lady's like, where'd you get this? And I was like, it was downstairs in the basement. And she looked at me crazy. I'm like, I'm sorry, the garage. And she still looked at me crazy, like she had never seen this before. So now I'm left with the lingering thought, did some kid come to this estate sale and leave their Jellycat on a workbench in a garage, and I just sold it and made $100? We'll pretend that didn't happen because I'm just making that up in my head. But after $135, shipping it to Chicago, our dollar cost of goods, our net profit on this little fluffy bunny is $103.28, and that happened overnight. So there you have it. That's our top 10 this week. Not too shabby, not too crazy. We sold 25 items this week. Our net profit was $529.37. Our average sales price was $21.17. Our median sales price was $16.86. And like I mentioned before, it's week 45. So let's move on to our flip-diddy-flop. We made a profit on it, but it's still a flip-flop. Disney Parks Munchling Stitch Frosted Gingerbread Cookie Scented Plush. I picked this up at Goodwill on my last trip to Disney World, and I know you're thinking, why would you go to Goodwill while you're at Disney World? We're annual pass holders and we go a lot. And so my son was perfectly content to stay at the condo and watch YouTube. I picked up this plush and the comps were semi-supportive. I picked up a bunch of other stuff too. If in hindsight, I think I might have just left most of it behind. But I went to this Goodwill and it was just loaded with Disney plush with tags, Disney ears. If you ever go to Orlando and you don't have any swag for the parks, honestly, hit this Goodwill first. It's the closest Goodwill to the parks. They had Spirit jerseys, they had t-shirts, they had toys, they had ears, costumes, princess dresses, and it was all Disney Parks branded. It's marked up a little, but it's not Disney World prices. Definitely not Disney World prices. And some of it, you're going to look cool because they don't sell it anymore. And people are going to be like, ooh, where'd you get those ears? So I grabbed this. He was so cute. He was so cute. And he smelled like gingerbread, even in a Goodwill. I had him listed for $25. But mind you, he's big. He's 14 inches, but he's also with his head about 12 inches across. When somebody sent me a $15 offer, I took it, knowing we wouldn't make very much money, if any, on it. And we didn't. We made $2.74, but it was only listed for 3 weeks. There you have it. That's our flip-flop. Adventures in sourcing, really. Everything's a learning moment, a teachable moment, getting paid to learn moment. That's what I call it, getting paid to learn. Heather and food. I kind of backed off a soup. We did have chili. Again, I like chili. And we had it with saltines, which is one of my top 5 favorite foods to eat in the history of ever. I love saltines. Saltines and butter are basically God's food. I'm not taking comments on that. That's just a fact. You should try it. If you've never had saltines with butter, try it and circle around. Tell me what you think. It's basically magic without sugar. I kind of caved on the soup. It got hot. It got really hot, y'all. It was 70 degrees. So let me break it down. This is what weather is like where we live. On Friday night, it was so stormy and windy, there's a chance of tornado touchdown. The next day, Saturday, it was in the 70s, calm, bright blue skies, a little breezy, but super warm. And Monday was 30 degrees and there was snow. Just make sure you have plenty of clothes to change into and out of, so you can just keep up with it. God bless the people that come here for vacation, because you don't know what to pack unless you're here for July, where it's a bazillion degrees the entire time you're here. So we had brat burgers. And what are brat burgers, you might ask? They're good. You get brats and there's like 5 brats in a pack. And I just cut the brats out of the casing and smash them into patties and cook them on the flat top. Or I used to do it on the grill. For a minute, I don't know, like 20 years ago, Johnsonville actually made and packaged brat burgers, or this never would have occurred to me. Like, why wouldn't you just make it as a sausage? When they're in sausage form, it takes so long for them to cook that when you do it as a burger, it's done. You're done in 3 minutes. It's amazing. You get like this crust on it, and it's just easier to eat. Everybody prefers it when I make it as a burger, so I try not to run out of hamburger buns for that. But yeah. I buy brats in bulk at Aldi. They sell party packs in the summer, and they frequently go on sale because in the South, brats aren't as popular as they are in the North, where I grew up. When I was a kid, Johnsonville was only sold where I lived, like in Wisconsin. Then when we moved to the South, you couldn't buy bratwurst. They'd never heard of it. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. We have Italian sausage over there. And then Johnsonville went nationwide, which was great because we missed brats because we used to have them all summer long. So we also eat them all summer long. Y'all have a great week. Thanks for watching, and keep your eyes out for Jellycats. That's where it's at. Honestly, I was shook. Shook, I tell you, when that little guy sold for $135 basically overnight. Happy fall, y'all.